Welcome! Today, we're going to explore a really powerful mental tool from Florence Scovel Shinn's classic, The Game of Life and How to Play It.
So let's start with a question I think we've all asked ourselves at some point. Why does worrying feel so productive? It's weird, right? It feels like we're actually doing something about a problem. Well, the truth is, that feeling of productivity, it's pretty much an illusion. Shinn's work and a lot of modern psychology points out that worry isn't the same as planning. It's more like a mental strain, this loop that just drains our energy without actually getting us anywhere.
Psychologists actually have a perfect name for this, rumination. And the word itself comes from the way a cow digests its food, by chewing on it over and over and over again. It's a great metaphor for how we mentally rechew a problem without ever really solving it.
So we're going to explore how to break the cycle. We'll look at a totally different way to handle problems, get really clear on what's yours to control, and then I'll walk you through a simple practice you can use to reset your focus anytime you feel that strain building up. So Shinn offers this different path, one she calls casting the burden. And it's really a mental model for shifting from that friction of worry to a state of, well, productive flow. Now, this isn't about giving up or just being passive. Not at all. It's a strategic mental release. You can think of it like delegating a task to your subconscious, or maybe like closing a bunch of background apps on your phone that are draining the battery. It frees you up to focus. And you can see the two approaches right here. On one side, you've got the strain of trying to force a solution, which just leads to friction and anxiety. And on the other, you have the clarity that comes from releasing the outcome and just trusting the process. That's where your intuition finally has some space to work. Okay, so let's get practical with this. To make this mental release something you can actually use, we can borrow a really powerful tool from the ancient Stoics. They were all about focusing on what you can control and accepting what you can't. This table breaks it down perfectly. Your job is to focus only on what's in your control, that first column. That's your effort, your response, the very next step you can take, and your own integrity. And you have to release control over what isn't yours, the final result, how other people react, the timing, all that external stuff. And here's the absolute key. Worry is the friction that we create when we try to manage the things in that second column. It's a total waste of our energy because those things were never ours to control in the first place.
So now that we've got the theory down, let's see how this actually works. Let's look at a few common scenarios, because this is where the idea really comes to life.
Okay, let's say you're at work, you've got a big project. It's so easy to just obsess over whether it's going to succeed, right? Instead, you cast that burden, the final outcome, and you channel all of your mental energy into doing your part with excellence. Or think about a difficult conversation. You simply cannot control how the other person is going to feel or react, but you can control your own words, your tone, and your intentions. So focus there and release the rest. And this is a big one. When you're building a new habit, the finish line can feel so impossibly far away. So just let go of the pressure of that distant goal. Cast the burden of the final result and just focus on taking the one step you need to take today.
Now here's my favorite part, a little mini practice you can use anytime you feel that strain of worry starting to build up. This is a simple, practical tool for hitting the reset button.
It's just a simple 3-step ritual. First, you acknowledge the feeling. Don't fight it, just name it. You might silently say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling anxious about this presentation. Second, you intend. You set a clear intention to release it and refocus. So you'd say, I release the outcome and I'm focusing only on doing my best. And third, release. You actually use your breath to physically and mentally let it go. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just imagine that worry leaving you. You know what's really interesting about this is that there's modern research that shows even simple rituals like this can create a real sense of control and actually improve our performance. By taking these deliberate little actions, you're setting a clear expectation for your mind, which helps it focus. So what's the core lesson here? What's the main idea to carry with you from this whole exploration of casting the burden? Well, to recap, it's really these few things. Recognize that worry is a trap, not a useful tool. Understand that your real power is in your effort and your response, not the final outcome. And then actively practice that mental release, that handing off of the problem. And remember, you can always use that little burden reset to get your clarity back. And I think this says it all, really. Your greatest effectiveness and your deepest peace of mind, they don't come from holding on tighter. They come from learning where to apply your effort and then learning to let go.
Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found it helpful, be sure to check out our next installment, which is all about the power of intuition. The full playlist for The Game of Life is right there in the description below.